Okay, well, here I am back in the studio. I've had a weekend to think about this painting, and there's a couple of places that I'm not happy with, and we're going to work on those. One is right here. It's kind of bulging in. This is coming out. This is coming in. They need, the jar wouldn't be doing that, so we need to kind of fix that. I'm not sure about what else is going to go on up here. The light's coming from here. We definitely need a shadow over here off the jar. Also, the water line is not good, so we're going to go ahead and work on that. Okay, so I have a palette. I don't have all my colors on here, but I have the colors I'm going to need. So I'm going to pick up some of this green. I'm going to work on the water in the jar first, and I'm going to add a little white to that. That might not have been a good idea because it will make it opaque because of the white. So let's move some of this green over here. Let's see what we can do here. Let's add some yellow to that. See if I like that a little better. Okay, I've got a couple of things going on here. So here's my green and white mixture. Here's the green and yellow. We're gonna put the water line right in here. Again, you need to pick it up with the back of the knife and come across here. Okay, I don't like it. I'll take that off. At this point, you can still move it around really easily. I do kind of like what's left there, though. So I'm going to pick up just a touch of this green and yellow, or green and white, and put that, just make a few little marks of it. And now you need some, here I am, I'm picking it up off the back, on the other side, and this has to be much lighter. Okay, so you've got water in the front as well as in the back. Probably should have done the back first. Okay, so let's come back here, and we're just going to get it a little bit. Okay, that leaf has to be in front of the back of the water. I hope that's making sense, what I mean by the front and the back of the water. This is, I don't really know another way to say it. Okay, so you're looking through this jar and you're seeing where the water hits the front of the jar and where the water hits the back of the jar. Okay, so now we're going to come back in here with a little more of this lighter color, and we're going to, now this will go in front of that leaf because the jar at this point is in front of the leaf. So if there's nothing here, it won't look like it's inside. Okay, now it looks like the leaf is inside that jar. So I'm going to add a little more. Now I kind of like how that looks. I'm going to clean this knife off, and I'm going to come back with some white, mainly white. Drop my paper towel. Let's put some white over here. And now let's pick up just a touch, a tiny bit of the turquoise. I mean, you can see what a tiny bit I have on that knife. Maybe. There you go, you can see it there. Okay, so I'm going to mix it in with that white, but look what happens. I mean, how much it changes that white with just that tiny bit. Now look, see, remember when I said most of it will sit right up in here, and that's what it did. So when I turned the knife over and pushed it down, all that darker came off. off the knife, so now it's made that even darker. Okay, so we are going to come back. I'm picking up on the outside edge. I want to get some highlight like on top of that leaf coming down. Yeah, like that. Maybe add a little more in here. There we go. I also want to put some down in here. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to work on the edge of the jar here. So I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to pick up some of this turquoise. I'm going to put it over here. And I'm using plain turquoise. It's mixing in a little bit with some of this white, but a tiny bit. Okay, now again, I'm wiping it off, and now I'm going to pick it back up. I want to come along this line right in here. My hand's sort of shaking today. Just picking up some paint, not mixing anything. Picking up a little more of the paint, spreading it out. Maybe if I set the palette down, my hand won't shake so bad if I can come in here. I'm going to take it off here. Okay, so that's a little better as far as that shape goes. Now I'm coming back here. It's too dark right there, so I'm coming back with some white. I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. And I'm going to come in here. There we go. That worked out real well. Okay, so now I want to add a shadow from the jar onto the table. And so what needs to happen is I need to get out my color wheel. Okay, I want a gray, I don't want just this bright color over here. It needs to have some of this, but it also needs to have, so here's the blue-green, so opposite it is red-orange, and that will gray the color. It won't make it gray, it will mute the color. So the main focus is the turquoise. So let's pick up some turquoise. Okay, now I'm going to pick up a little bit of orange. I can always add more, but if I get too much, then it's problematic. Okay, so here comes some orange into that. Okay, you can see how that just totally muted that turquoise. Now, I'm going to come along under here and come out this way. Just picking up paint, not mixing anything. Just picking up what I already have mixed. that's kind of greenish. So I'm going to throw in a little more of the purple for this background so it might show through a little better. So I'm going to put that in here. And now I'm going to add a little more orange. There we go. Let's see how this does. I'm going to come underneath. And come straight across. Okay, I like what happened there. I like what, now there's one more thing I want to do. I need to wipe off my knife, and you can, yeah, you want to get all of that off. I'm going to come over here in my white, and in this piece right here, a little bit of that, where I mix the lime green and white. I want to put, see this little piece here is highlight. That's where the light hit a bump up in the jar. I want to come in here and add a little, I want to add that to it. There. Okay, so that gives it another depth that, you know, I didn't have before. Now, I have a couple of things that I'm not exactly happy with, but I don't want to play around too much. So let's take a look at this and see what we have. Okay, I think it's looking pretty good. Now what I could do is come in here with another big hydrangea. I could go with another one of these and put that in here. I could make a light pink one. I'm not sure I want to introduce a whole nother color into this. I've got this purple here, this green is coming into here, and this is going with the background. So I don't think I really want to introduce another color in there. But what I think this needs, I do think it needs another hydrangea, which is unusual for me because I have 3 and your eye likes odd numbers. So now I have to decide, do I want to maybe make it odd looking by adding another hydrangea, or I could also put one here and then a small little bud out here, and that would make it 5. That would bring me back to my odd number again. So I think I'm going to go with another one of these right here, and then I'm going to put a bloom of this up into here. And so then it will come from here to here to here to here. Okay, so let's, we've got some turquoise going on right here. Let's add some white to that. Let's add a pretty fair amount of white to that because I don't want it to be the same as this one. Okay, so here comes, yeah, that looks pretty good to start with. Okay, so here comes a repeat. We're going to start to put it in here. I'm just kind of forming, so I'm not really shaping a hydrangea. I'm giving it some place to live. I hope you know what I mean by that. I'm just giving it a home at this moment. Okay? All right, so now, and here's the great thing about a palette knife, is you can put paint right on top of paint. Whereas if you did this with a brush, it wouldn't work. You'd have to wait for it to dry or something. So here comes some lighter shade. I'm going to work over here on the edge. I'm not going to try to mix this whole thing. I'm just going to work on this side over here. So I'm pulling it off and I'm going to pick it up. And I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to lay some petals in there. It's really thick paint. Okay, I'm going to add some more white down in this corner. I think I don't know. I think I'll just go with some more white. I was thinking about adding some, maybe a little bit of purple to it, but I don't want it to darken up. Okay, so now I'm going to shape a few petals, particularly one right here in the center. I'm going to put a few out here. All I'm doing is picking up paint. I'm not mixing anything. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to kind of wipe that off. I'm going to come over here in my greenish area, pick up some white and some more of this green. I'm going to put a little bud up here. Now I'm going to come back and add some more white to that. Out here on the edge, I'm not mixing this whole thing up. I know I keep saying that, but it's really important that you understand you don't overmix. And I'm just putting in some more lighter petals, so it's got two shades. Okay, so I went kind of big with that, so I'm going to come back out here and maybe make these a little bigger. Okay. There, that's a small bud. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe that off and I'm going to pick up some of this lighter color. There. Okay, now I need a stem. So I'm going to bring this green over here, mix it with the green I already have. I wiped it off and now I'm picking it back up with the back of the knife. I'm going to throw in a little bit of a stem right here. It's going to come down into here. And then I'm going to come back and here comes a leaf. And here comes like the outside petals are the leaves here. Okay. And I'm going to throw in just something out here in the Netherland. Just picking up some of that dark green, putting a petal or a leaf or two in between flowers. There, okay. It sort of gives it a little more depth. Okay, so I'm real happy with what we have here. Let's take a closer look. Our jar looks much happier now. We have a nice shadow. We have added 2 buds. We fixed our water and it's looking real good now. I'm going to let that dry, and I don't usually sign until I'm ready to varnish. So I might have 6 or 8 paintings all ready at once to varnish, and I'll sign them all then. So thank you so much for being here. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've learned a lot, and I can't wait to see your hydrangea paintings. Let's go. Let's paint together real soon.